Hey friend, welcome to your daily 5-minute Bible teaching with me, your coach, Pastor Nat. You know, as a coach, I exist not just to help you win the day, but do so with excellence. And to help you do that, we are going to talk about understanding the cost. Was it worth it? I often ask myself that after a challenge I complete. One such challenge was hiking up Little Devil's Tower in Custer, South Dakota. For a family vacation, we went up to the Black Hills. We saw Mount Rushmore, we hiked through caves, and we ended by tackling Little Devil's Tower. Now, it may not sound like much, but this is a 4-mile, 1,000-foot ascent. Now, I know what you're thinking, Nat, that doesn't sound so bad, but when you're in tow with 3 little boys, I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of work. But over a few hours, we navigated the route. It was hard, but eventually we hit the top. By that point, we were exhausted. Our bodies ached. But then we stood on the top of this peak, and I looked at my kids and my wife, and I said, was it worth it? They all got a big smile on their face, and they said, oh, yes. The Apostle Paul, he knew suffering and hardship, but he also knew it was worth it. This is what Paul had to say about his suffering for Christ in Colossians chapter 1. I am glad when I suffer for you in my body, for I am participating in the sufferings of Christ that continue for his body, the church. God has given me the responsibility of serving his church by proclaiming his entire message to you. Sometimes when I read the Bible, I wonder if the apostles were sadists. I mean, think about what Paul just said. I am glad when I suffer for you in my body. If you're like me, it seems kind of odd. It just doesn't make sense. But when we pause and we actually think about the cost and reward, it really does make sense. You see, that day when our family sacrificed our bodies to climb Little Devil's Tower, we got it. It was hard, but the view was worth it. The Apostle Paul has been a faithful messenger of the gospel. That gospel was being spread. Here as he writes this, he's in chains. He has suffered greatly for spreading the gospel. But knowing that these brothers and sisters in Colossae are saved from hell, and they are saved to a life to the fullest, and they have eternity with God, Paul says, the suffering, it is worth it. What's interesting is we do this all the time for things that, frankly, aren't worth it at all. Marriages fall apart for the cost of a career. Savings are emptied for a lucrative opportunity. Bodies are broken for a momentary piece of fame on TikTok or YouTube. The cost is never worth the reward for these types of things. But when our efforts are like Paul's, we can say it was totally worth it. We have to remember, Paul's mission, it's our mission today. Our mission as Christians is to proclaim the entire gospel message to the people around us. Will it cost us something? Most likely. Is it worth it? It is worth it all. So this is my challenge for you today. Count the cost. We are all sacrificing something. It could be for your career. It could be for your bank account. You may be sacrificing for your golf score, your popularity on social media, or it could be something else. But friend, you need to ask the question, is it worth it? The answer is probably not. What's a better alternative? we should be living for the gospel of Jesus Christ. We should be willing to suffer as Christ suffered, because there is no greater pleasure than to know someone has heard, received, and responded to the gospel message. So count the cost of your own life and then adjust accordingly to live for the things that matter. And then begin to proclaim that message. When our lives are aligned with God's mission, we will win the day.